Welcome to the tutorial on the Telephony toolbar. This multimedia sales tool is intended as a high-level overview for the end-user customer who wants to understand how the Telephony toolbar can help their business improve productivity. We are going to start with a brief description of what the Telephony toolbar provides. The toolbar is just as it sounds, a toolbar that resides in Mozilla Firefox, Microsoft Internet Explorer, or even Microsoft Outlook, and sits in the browser window just as any other toolbar would. You can think of the toolbar as a remote control for the user's phone, providing a quick and easy way to enable commonly used telephony features and services. One of the most important benefits of the Telephony toolbar is that it allows users to manage their own phone services, both the initial configuration and ongoing changes, without having to contact a phone administrator. This can be done from anywhere that the user has their computer and an internet connection. No more driving back to the office to unforward your desk phone, as example. With the toolbar and the click of a mouse, users can answer and manage incoming calls, place outgoing calls using click-to-dial from online contacts and directories, and set up and manage features such as voicemail, unified messaging, and even mobility options. You will need to consult with your service provider to see which services are available for your business. The toolbar works with any type of communications device, including office phones, home phones, soft phones on the PC, mobile PDAs and smartphones, and even video devices. Let's take a look at two common use case scenarios. Our first use case is a financial advisory firm. Their key concern is how to integrate full-time remote workers into the company phone system, as right now there is no way to transfer calls to them, nor is there a way for the remote workers to transfer calls back to the office. A secondary, but no less important concern, is how to manage business continuity for unplanned situations, such as a forced evacuation, or other temporary conditions where the workers must leave the building immediately. Today, all remote workers are required to use their home landlines for business calls. The company does not want to have to provide IP phones for both cost reasons and technical support reasons. The already overburdened IT staff does not have time to take on another project, especially trying to manage remote installs with non-technical users. The solution is to tie the remote workers' existing phones into the company phone system simply by using the Telephony toolbar and the Remote Office function. We'll take a look at the Remote Office function later on in this tutorial. All the remote workers will now have business extensions, and calls can be transferred both to and from the remote workers. They would also have access to the company voicemail system, so calls don't end up in someone's home voicemail. An added benefit is that the company can now track all call activity, even for the remote workers. The remote workers only have to download the toolbar to their PC, and with their existing phone and internet connection, they're good to go. This also means that even internal employees who may have to work remotely on a moment's notice can continue with business as usual with just their cell phones and their laptops. The result is a noticeable improvement in the company's current business process, an improved business continuity plan, and even the ability to provide their regular users with increased functionality. Our next use case is a residential brokerage firm. The key concern on behalf of the managing broker is that his salespeople are not working all of the potential leads. Today, all incoming calls are answered by a receptionist. If the call is for a specific salesperson, she will page that individual to pick up the call. If the salesperson is not in the office, the call will be routed to their voicemail. If the incoming caller does not ask for a specific person, the receptionist will transfer it to the sales ring group. Unfortunately, if no one answers, the same thing happens. The caller goes to voicemail. Even if the caller actually leaves a voicemail, which can be rare in commodity sales, no one is notified that there are voicemails waiting, and busy salespeople on the road often forget to check. The solution for this situation is the Telephony toolbar combined with two additional services, the Anywhere mobility feature and unified messaging, both of which we'll take a look at later on in this tutorial. Incoming calls that are transferred to the salesperson's desk can now ring their cell phones at the same time, so they can pick up the call wherever they are. And voicemail can be sent to their email account, so at an appropriate time they can pick up the leads from their smartphone or PDA and call the leads right back. The end result is that there is an increase in lead capture. We are now going to take a closer look at the toolbar to better understand some of the features and functionality. The toolbar is made up of two main categories of features, services and call control, displayed here in two rows, with the service options running across the top row and call control options on the bottom. Moving from left to right across the top row, the first two icons we see are the green power button, which turns the toolbar off and on, and the orange options button. When you click on the orange options button, a window will open and display the general options page, which is used to enter the user's name and password, as well as other options. As example, this includes the ability to enable and disable a pop-up notification box, which can pop up on the user's PC screen to show the details of incoming and outgoing calls. We'll see that on the next slide. You can also use the Options button to enable or disable Microsoft Outlook integration in order to take advantage of the click-to-dial function from Outlook contacts. If we click on the Services button, another window will open that shows us a menu of services and the current configuration of those services. This is where the user will go to make their initial and future configuration changes to many different features and applications. The four basic categories include incoming calls, outgoing calls, call control, and messaging. With the toolbar turned on, you can easily answer and manage calls from your desktop. Incoming calls can be answered simply by clicking on the green handset icon, or if you have the call notification option enabled, you can answer the call by clicking on the incoming phone number in the pop-up box. You can place an active call on hold with the blue hold icon. You can also send calls directly to your voicemail by clicking on the voicemail icon. And using the purple transfer icon, calls can be transferred simply by entering the number in the dial number box or choosing a number from the speed dial or contacts list and then clicking the transfer icon. By clicking on the conference call icon, a conference call can be instantly enabled. And finally, the red handset icon can be used to end a call. Moving back up to the Services row, let's take a quick look at some mid-call management features, which are pretty much self-explanatory. These include Call Forward Always, Call Forward No Answer, Call Forward Busy, and Call Forward Do Not Disturb. Outgoing calls can be placed by manually entering the phone number in the dial number box area, or by choosing one of the many different click-to-dial options. Under the dial number option, a drop-down box will show a list of the 10 most recently called numbers. The user simply selects a number they wish to call and clicks their mouse. There are also click-to-dial options under speed dial, call history, personal directory, and group directory. The speed dial option, represented here by the blue clock icon, is where users can access a pre-configured speed dial list, which can be set up by either the user or the administrator. The call history option, represented by the blue notepad, allows users to see their most recent missed, placed, and received phone calls. The call time, date, and duration are also displayed. The personal directory, represented by the green user icon, displays all of the user's personal contacts. And finally, the group directory icon displays all users in the enterprise, such as a corporate directory. It is searchable and displays the user's names, departments, title, and any extensions and mobile numbers as required. Another option for making click-to-dial calls is from Microsoft Outlook contacts, making calling from the desktop even more convenient. Notice that the Outlook toolbar you are seeing above is slightly different from the Internet Explorer toolbar we saw on the previous slides. It now shows a new drop-down menu on the left-hand side of the call control roll called Dial Contacts. To place a click-to-dial call from Outlook, the user first opens their Outlook contacts and selects the contact they wish to call. The user then selects the Dial Contacts drop-down menu and chooses a phone number associated with the contact that they would like to use, and the outgoing call will be placed. So far, we have covered incoming calls and outgoing calls. We are now going to take a look at some additional toolbar options, including messaging and mobility features. Please remember to contact your service provider to find out more about these options. The messaging option lets you configure your preferred voicemail options, including unified messaging. To activate unified messaging, the user simply chooses the unified messaging option and enters a valid email address. Emails can be sent either as notifications or as a WAV file attachment to your email. One of the more powerful features within the Services menu is the ability to control mobility services with a click of the mouse. This includes BroadWorks Anywhere, Remote Office, and simultaneous ringing. The first option we are going to explore is the Anywhere feature under Call Control. You'll also notice the Anywhere icon in the toolbar. With Anywhere enabled, incoming phone calls will ring all of a user's devices at once, including mobile phones, desk phones, soft clients, and even video devices, so that no matter where the user is, they can pick up the call. And users now only have to check one voicemail box, as all messages are always routed to the business mailbox. Calls can also be pulled or moved from one device to another during an active call without the caller even being aware. Note that one of the more important benefits of Anywhere is that the system is always aware of any device that is in the call, including mobile and home phones. This means that common enterprise business features such as call transfer, barge in, and extension dialing can still be utilized regardless of device, and business owners can now track call activity for any and all users. Our next option is Remote Office. You will notice the orange Remote Office button on the toolbar. The Remote Office feature is typically used as an on-demand feature and is intended for remote workers who need to be part of the office configuration, either full-time or part-time. The user enters a remote office number so that when calls come into their office number or extension, the calls will be routed to that remote office number. One of the benefits of the Remote Office feature is that it can also be used for sending outbound calls using the business caller ID versus the remote office number. As example, when the worker uses any of the click-to-dial options, the call placed from their remote home or mobile phone displays the business caller ID. Our last mobility option is simultaneous ringing, which is exactly as it sounds. It allows you to have up to 10 phone numbers ring simultaneously with your office number or extension, including a mobile phone. Once the phone numbers have been entered, you can turn the feature on and off by using the hot button on the toolbar. Note that simultaneous ring does not offer the same features as either Anywhere or Remote Office. It simply provides the ability to simultaneously ring selected devices. Let's summarize by looking at the key business benefits of the toolbar and related services. Users no longer need to contact the phone administrator to change commonly used features. Feature changes and call control can be done right from the desktop, regardless of where the worker is located. The click-to-dial function removes dialing errors, and users no longer have to scramble for a pen to write down phone numbers left on voicemail. There are many ways for a user to call right back from the desktop, using the Call History tab, speed dials, the corporate directory, or even their Outlook contacts. The mobility features gives users options of where, when, and how to manage both their incoming and outgoing calls, with the option of displaying the business ID when making outbound calls, even from home or cell phones. Users can also take advantage of unified messaging to have their voicemail delivered to their email, eliminating the need to constantly call back to the office to check voicemail. And finally, the toolbar gives workers the utmost in flexibility and reliability for both full and part-time employees as well as remote workers. Thank you for watching the Toolbar tutorial. And please remember to contact your service provider to find out more information on the unique solutions that are available for your business.